Hello everybody and welcome back to Coloring with Haley. Today we are going to do kind of a simple picture here from Crayola's Well Dressed Pets because I don't know how much time I will have. So we're going to use Cali art markers on this picture. I have been very busy. Just this week in particular was kind of an off week. So, first of all, I knew I had a dentist appointment on Tuesday. But they were going to do some fillings because I have some cavities. So they were going to do just a bunch of fillings and get that out of the way and over with. But that's not how that went. That's not what happened. I was trying to do a lot of homework on Monday because that's when my class is open. That's when, like, the homework is first accessible. And I knew that I'd be losing Tuesday, basically. Because I have some stuff in some of the classes that's due on Wednesday. I'd have just Monday to get it done. So I was up late Monday getting done homework. And then Tuesday I woke up and had to go to the dentist. And I was at the dentist for almost 4 hours. It wasn't really a wait time. You know, I wasn't really in the waiting room that long or anything. It was just, it did not go as planned. So I got to the dentist, and they were looking at my teeth to see which fillings they wanted to do today because I have cavities on both sides. And they were going to do just one side Tuesday, and then have me come back and they're going to do the other side. But I'm there, and they're looking around in my mouth, and I don't like going to the dentist. My dentist is nice. My mother used to be a dentist. She used to work with this dentist, so I know him personally. And he's very nice and friendly, and he takes his time. He's a good dentist. I just don't like going to the dentist. It's just uncomfortable. I wouldn't say I'm scared of it, it's just uncomfortable. But anyway, they were looking at my teeth, and the dentist said, "Do you have any pain with your wisdom teeth?" Because my wisdom teeth are in. I didn't have any problems with them coming in. Mine are in. And he was asking about the top one on the right. And I said, no, it doesn't hurt at all. And, you know, I tend to chew on that side and everything, so I haven't had any pain at all in that. I said, I'm fine, it doesn't hurt at all. And he said, well, there's a nerve exposed on your wisdom tooth. And I took a minute and I was like, wait, what? And he was like, there's a nerve exposed on that wisdom tooth. We're gonna have to take it out. I don't know. It's abscessed and there's a nerve exposed and I don't know if I can save it. So that's what happened Tuesday. Instead of getting a bunch of fillings, they pulled one of my wisdom teeth. And it took a really long time. I can't attest to it, but the dentist says I have a very small mouth. So, probably so. I'm like 4'11" and 110 pounds. I'm a small person to begin with. I'm very short. I wouldn't know if my mouth was small, but if the dentist says so, then yeah, okay, maybe I have a small mouth. And he said this wisdom tooth was really, really big. So it was going to be kind of hard to remove. And they tried to remove it and it broke off. So, like, the roots were still in there, but like the tooth itself was out. So they had to dig around for a long, long time to get the roots out. I was in the chair for about 3 hours with them digging around in my mouth to get the roots out. And it was like he would dig around for about 30 minutes and then take a break for a bit and then go back to digging around. And he would pull out pieces that were like, you know, like about that big. They were tiny, tiny pieces that he was pulling out each time. So it just took forever. And he said that the tooth had grown kind of weird. He said that my roots were like all crossed over each other, like this, kind of. And that's what made it so hard to remove. But yeah, so Tuesday was fun. I was there for a lot longer than I thought I was going to be, and different things happened than what I thought. So my mouth still kind of hurts, especially when I wake up in the morning, but they've got medicine and everything. You know, because they pulled a tooth. So that was certainly interesting and unexpected. I didn't know that that was going to happen. But I guess there wasn't really any way I could have predicted that. I'm going to use that color in a second. I want a dark pink. Here we go. So that's been fun. It's Thursday night now when I'm filming this, and yeah, my mouth still hurts. It probably will for a while, since they really had to dig around in there to get my tooth out. I'm sure that it'll take a while to heal. And I have to go back anyway in October again to actually start those fillings, because it was a little bit of an unexpected turn. It wasn't exactly fun, but when I got home Tuesday, I was just so out of it. The numbing medicine that they gave was starting to wear off, so my face and my mouth was starting to hurt. Oh, and while I was there, because I apparently have a small mouth, they busted my lip with one of the dental tools trying to get the tooth out, so my lips hurt too. But anyway, I came home and I was in too much pain to even try to focus on any homework. But I mean, I got home, honestly, it was like dinner time. I had some mashed potatoes because that's about all I could eat. So I was in too much pain to really even be able to concentrate on schoolwork, so I had Wednesday and today to catch up. And then Wednesday was crazy. With my statistics class, kind of hit like a wall. All of a sudden, it like went way up in difficulty. Before that, I was doing pretty okay in the statistics class, but Wednesday, I did some homework in the afternoon, and then I ate dinner, and then after dinner, so about 6 o'clock, I started homework. I did some economics work, and then I went on to statistics. I was up until 12:30 last night trying to do my statistics. I just did not understand this lesson that we were supposed to do, and the way that the online works is you kind of like it gives you a practice, and you just keep practicing and practicing, and you know, if you finish the practice, then you go on to the certify, and it's kind of like a quiz, and you have to make at least a 75% on the certify to pass it. And if you don't, it kicks you all the way back to the practice, and you gotta redo the practice again before you can retake the certify again. And so I was just going back and forth between them probably 10 times, because I just did not understand how to do the work, and the videos weren't helping, and the book wasn't helping, and it has like a tutor thing where, you know, it can walk you through how to do it, but it just wasn't helping. I just did not understand the material at all, and I still really don't understand it. But I did manage to finally pass it at about 12:30, and then I came up here and went to bed. So that is how my week has been. Oh, I had a test in statistics today, like an actual exam, and I didn't do that great on it. I made a 75, which that still passes, but the exam's pretty weighted. It's like 40% of your overall grade, which up until then I had a 100. This was the first exam that we've taken, so when she finally updates the grade book, I guess we'll see how low that takes my overall score. Hopefully it's not too bad, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying my best with the statistics class. At this point, I don't really care what my grade is in the statistics class, as long as I just pass the class. That's all that matters. If I don't have to retake it, you know, even if I barely pass it, that's fine with me. Because I've made the dean's list every single semester, just this one I might not. But at this point, as long as I pass the class, then that is good enough for me. Because it seriously got like really, really difficult. And we have a forum set up for the class, and I can see that a lot of people are really struggling with this week's work. Because you can go to the forum and like ask questions and stuff, and I can see that basically everyone's really struggling with this week. So it's not just me that seems like it took a big jump. Seems like kind of everyone agrees with that. You might have noticed I did decorate for Halloween. So I got this tablecloth at Target, I think. Yeah, I got it at Target there with their cheap stuff with little ghosts on it. I think it's super cute. And I got these two things at Target too. I got this little pumpkin here, and I got this cute little cat. He's in a jack-o'-lantern costume. I don't remember what these are called. I think these are called setums or something like that, because it's weighted in the bottom, so it just sets down on things, and it's super cute. And it was cheap. It was there at the front of Target with all of their little cheap stuff. I think everything there is like $5 or under. So I did get some stuff and got the desk decorated a little bit. I would like to put up more decorations, but I just wanted to get something out for Halloween, and we could think of this picture as being a little bit maybe of a Halloween picture, kind of, I guess, if we think that the rabbit's in costume for Halloween, maybe. But yeah, my week has been crazy. Next week, you know, I won't have a dentist appointment or anything, so that won't put me off of my work. So it should slow down, and hopefully next week's statistics lesson is a lot easier. I don't know. Like I said, it just like really all of a sudden got difficult. I think I'm gonna make the rabbit's shoes the same color as the outfit. I haven't colored on one of these Crayola books before. This has some really nice, like really smooth paper for markers. This is nice paper. I did manage to find bugs for all the animals at a feed store that had some crickets and worms in stock for chickens, and I figure, you know, there can't be any pesticides in the crickets or anything if they're feeding them to your hens that are laying eggs and stuff. So I figured they would be safe enough for reptiles, because you wouldn't want the pesticides to be ingested by the chickens either. Especially if they're going to be meat chickens, you know, to eat. So everyone got bugs, and everyone was excited about that. The rat snake shed yesterday. I woke up and he had shed sometime in the night. I think that might be the first time this year that he has shed, unless he just shed like really early on and I don't remember it. Since he's an adult, he will shed less often. He's 7 or 8. Based on what the breeder told me and what I could, you know, put 2 and 2 together. So he sheds like maybe twice a year. So he did last night, and he was in blue for about a week. That's what we call it when... So, okay, you probably know that when snakes shed, they're kind of go blind, like their eyes turn milky and they look like they're blind and they can't see, so they are blind. And we call that in blue, and that's right before a snake sheds. Let's see what color we want to do the flowers. Let's do purple. It's a really dark purple though. Let me see if I can find a light purple. So yeah, he was in shed in blue for about a week and then he shed. So now he can see, and I'm sure that he's happy about that. I'm going to give a piece of the shed to my possum so he can see what that is. Just something to smell, you know, and play with if he wants. He might eat it too. Some wild animals do eat snake shed, so he might eat it. That's okay though. There's a lot of nutrients in it. Some reptiles, like, well, not snakes, but like my geckos, they do eat their shed. Like, they pull it off their skin and eat it. I know that's kind of gross, but apparently there's a lot of nutrients in there, so they're getting a lot of vitamins from it. So I would assume that if the possum did end up eating the shed I give it to play with, that he would be getting a lot of vitamins. Not certain though. The internet said it was okay to give it to him. And he's doing good. I got him, well, I made a sandbox for him. Like, more like a dirt box, because I didn't have any sand, and the week that I was making it, it probably rained every single day, so there wasn't like any dry sand outside that I could go get. We're gonna say that's a flower. So I put dirt in it instead, but I made it so that he could dig around for bugs. I put a bunch of bugs in it. and I let the bugs bury down at the bottom. And then I put it in there, and he pretty much immediately went over to see what I put in his enclosure because he's nosy. And he really, like, pretty much immediately jumped right up on it and started digging around and finding the bugs. I don't know if he has just a really good sense of smell and he could smell the bugs in there, or maybe it was just something instinctual. Not really sure, but he liked it. He found all the bugs. He seemed to think that was fun, so I'll probably keep giving him little sandboxes. I know some people kind of make like little mazes out of cardboard boxes and stuff for them to do. I guess they can solve some pretty complicated stuff. He liked that. And I bought a cat toy for him too, because again, I read that they would play with cat toys. Like, little toys, you know, it's kind of like a wand with like some string on the end, and there's usually something tied to the string. Sometimes they have bells on them, and, you know, they rattle and make noise and all that stuff. I bought one of those at the pet store when I went to get dog food for Finn, because they had some up at the front that were like $3. So it was pretty cheap if he, you know, didn't like it. But he does. I'm actually really surprised. I mean, I know people in my possum group were saying that, oh, they'll definitely play with them. They love to play with them. But I just kind of doubted that. I don't know why. I just thought, no, there's no way he's going to play with a little cat toy. But he actually does really love the, I don't know what you want to call it. I would call him like a fishing pole toy, because to me they kind of remind me of a fishing rod. But he does really like it, and he plays with it quite a bit. I get it out and jingle it around for him. And he'll come out of his home and come get it and chase it around, and he grabs it with his teeth, but he grabs it with his little hands, because like a raccoon, you know, they kind of have little hands with little thumbs, and he pulls it around that way sometimes too. So I'm actually surprised he plays with it, but he does. He does like it. He loves it. So that's been interesting. I think I'll get him some more toys to play with. I think he seems to like ones that make some kind of sound. So I think that I'll get him possibly, let's see what color. We're gonna do the bow. Okay. We're gonna do it in brown. I think I'll get him some of the little balls that have a bell in them. You know, the balls are plastic and like see-through. And they've got a little bell in them that kind of chimes around when he plays with it. I think I'll get him one of those, because he's a playful animal. He has a hamster wheel in there, and he does run on it just like a hamster. He runs on it all the time. I can hear him in there running on it because it's kind of a loud plastic wheel. They make silent spinners, but some of the silent spinners are like $40, whereas the loud plastic one's about $20, so it's kind of half the price. It doesn't bother me to hear it. It just means I know that he's in there playing around, so doesn't matter to me. But, you know, if he was like upstairs where we sleep and trying to run in the middle of the night, then I probably would go out the money for the cheaper one, but since we're upstairs away from it, I can't hear it. So I think I'm gonna get him some more cat toys. And in my last video, I talked about the Halloween store, Spirit Halloween. We are getting one. It just doesn't open until the 10th, which is today, actually, so it opens today. And I'm gonna have to get some groceries over the weekend. We need a few things. We need milk, and we need soap. So I might find an excuse to run into Spirit Halloween. I don't really want to get out that much, but gotta get groceries, so I may just pop in there while I'm there. And I may pick up a few things, we'll see. Other than that, other than just kind of having a crazy week, everything's been going fine. Just an unexpected week with my tooth having to be pulled and everything. Just wasn't really expecting that. I hate that I am going to have to go back, but I mean, I'm glad they pulled the tooth if it was going to start to cause me pain. I'm glad that they pulled it before it did, because I've had to have a tooth pulled before that was causing me a lot of pain. I don't remember what was wrong with it, but it really hurt. Probably the second worst pain I've ever been in. I had a kidney stone a couple years ago, and that was definitely the worst pain I've ever been in. But the toothache is pretty bad. I mean, that stuff keeps you awake at night, so I'm glad that they pulled it before it got any worse. It just kind of sucks that they really had to dig around in there, and that my jaw is kind of sore from that. But hopefully that will be better soon. I think that we're going to use the Spectrum Noir marker on the rabbit itself. And this is probably going to be a bit of a shorter video because I've got a few more things I got to do. I got to record a speech for my speech class. We're given informative speeches, so we had to kind of research a topic that we wanted to give a speech about. And she gave us certain topics that we could and couldn't give the speech on. And we had to research it and write an outline. And then we got to give the speech. We're going to use this color here. This says it's tan, but it is not tan, and you'll see when I put it on the page, it's super dark. So I still have to give my speech. I was hoping, though, that she would grade. We had to make an outline of the speech last week and turn that in, and I was kind of hoping that she would grade the outline of the speech before the speech itself was due, so that if she graded the outline and she was like, oh, you know, this needs improvement, or you could change this to this, well, then I could change that for the speech and get a higher grade on the speech, but she hasn't graded it yet, so. The speech is due Saturday night at around midnight, so I'm going to give her until tomorrow evening, and tomorrow, if she hasn't rated it, then I'm just going to dive in and do the speech without any input on the outline. And I think that is probably the last thing I got to do this week, as far as school goes. Of course, still taking care of animals and everything. But I believe that's my last piece of homework for this week. There we go. That looks good, I think. And as you can see, it's not really a tan color. I would call it dark brown. These markers have names on them that definitely do not match up, and neither do the lids. Probably why it's important to do a swatch chart, but I am just too lazy to make a swatch chart, so I just have a little notebook over here that I scribble a marker on real quick to see if it's the color that I want to use or not. That's how I do things. I have gotten quite a few pages done this month already. Some of them I posted on Instagram. I don't post all of them there. We'll have to wait until my colored pages to see what else I got done. But I have been able to have some time at night to color, minus last night, obviously, because I was up so late trying to figure out statistics. Man, I don't know what happened there. It just didn't make any sense at all. We're doing, like, permutations and combinations and some kind of counting rule thing. It just doesn't make any sense at all. I even tried to Google how to do it, you know, because they have some of those, like, homework helper sites that walk you through problems, like, step by step. And I even looked up that, and one of them was just wrong. It walked me through the problem step by step, and the way the website said to do it gave me an answer, and when I put that answer in, the website told me it was wrong, and it told me this was the right answer. Unfortunately, when you get the wrong answer, it doesn't tell you, like, what you did wrong. It just says, you got the wrong answer, here's the right answer. So for one of the problems, it involved, like, pulling a card from a deck of cards and, like, rolling a dice and something else. I think maybe flipping a coin or something. I just do not know how to do it, and what I Googled is apparently not the correct way to do it, so I have no idea. I submitted a question request to the professor, so hopefully she'll get back to me and tell me how to do it, but I already, did the test and everything, so it's, like, a little late now. But at least that question wasn't on the test. So, there were just some completely different questions on the test. Basically, what happened with the test was, it was over the first few chapters, and the first two chapters were super easy. And then we had to do the test this week along with, like, a new chapter. And the order the website gave to us was to do the new chapter and then to do the test, so I just followed the order the website gave me. And this new chapter was just so hard and confusing that when I got to the test over the previous chapters where stuff was simpler, I was trying to do way more work than like what was needed. You know, some of the questions were simply just a word problem, and to solve it you just had to multiply stuff together. But I was trying to like permutate things and everything else. It just threw me off completely. It got me all confused that I was trying to do something way simpler than what I just learned how to do. So next time, I think every 2 weeks from now on out there's an exam. So next time I do this, I'm gonna not follow the order on the website, and I'm gonna do the exam first before I learn a new chapter, so that the stuff from the previous chapters is fresh in my mind for the exam, and hopefully that won't mess me up as much. Like I said, as long as I just pass the class, I don't care if I pass it with a C-. I don't care if I barely pass it at all. As long as I pass it and do not have to retake it, then that works for me, because I've done great in all my other college classes so far. I struggled with college algebra, but I still passed it with an A. This may be the first class I don't pass with an A, and that's okay. That's alright, not going to pass everything. I'm worried about when I have to do chemistry. But I didn't have a problem with chemistry years ago, and I kind of remember some of it still. I don't think it'll be too big of an issue. I know college chemistry is a little bit different. They're going to actually have us mixing stuff together. You know, it can actually be hazardous. I really have to know what I'm doing in that. That's really the only other class I'm worried about, and I think this statistics class is like my last math class. So, once I'm done with it, I won't have to worry about math anymore, thankfully. And the statistics class ends sometime in October. I'm at 4 weeks already, and so that means I'm halfway done with my public speaking class and my economics class, but the statistics class was a 14-week class instead of an 8-week class. So, economics is fine. I mean, it's boring, it's economics, it's not really my thing, but it's fine. It's not too much work. And he lets us take tests open book, so it's not too difficult right now. I've kind of gotten into like the swing of things, and I can have work done by Wednesdays, just not this week because I lost a day. So the economics class, as much as I would don't want to say it, the economics class is kind of becoming my favorite class just because it's so easy and I can get all the work done pretty quickly. It's pretty simple to, read the book and answer some questions about it. I'm going to be complaining for sure, though, when I get to the final week, because we have to write a 7-page essay, and that's like 7 pages, not counting, the cover page and like your works cited page and everything. That is 7 pages overall. That's going to be a lot. And, it has to be about economics. I don't know how I'm going to be able to just go on and on about economics for 7 pages. But I'm going to have to figure that out. At least that's the only class that I have to write a paper in this year, because obviously the final in statistics is going to be like a big test. And the final in public speaking is going to be a speech, which we're already preparing for. It has to be a persuasive speech. And again, she gave us things that we can talk about and things we can't talk about. So I'm going to talk about animals for mine, because I think that'd be the easiest thing to do. I like to pick a topic that I could go on and on about. And that's like the one thing I can go on and on about. We're going to do this rainbow back here. And I don't want to do any of the clouds, I don't think. Let's see. There's only 4 colors in this rainbow. So we're going to do red, orange, yellow, and green. Did you guys ever in school, when I was in elementary school, in art class, they taught us Roy G. Biv, like someone's name. His name's Roy, and his middle name is G, and his last name is Biv. And that's all the colors of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. I remember that from elementary school. Did they ever teach you guys that? I asked Doug, my partner, if, because we went to different elementary schools, if they taught him that, and he had never heard of it before. And they had us, like, chanting that every day in art class to remember the order of the rainbow. So I was kind of surprised that he had never heard of it before. This marker's a little dry. Oh well. It'll be alright. But everyone's doing good. Everyone's happy. My donkey is an escape artist. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet or not. But he will find a way to get out somehow. I think I figured out what he was doing and got it stopped. He probably got out 4 or 5 times. I would look outside and the donkey would be at my door. At least he's easy to catch and he doesn't go far. He stays in the yard. And he comes right up to you, you know, because he's so friendly. But it probably took 5 or 6 tries for me to get it right where he was getting out at, where I thought he was getting out at. You know, I'd patch that up. And then the next day I'd be having dinner and look out the window and there he is. So, you know, clearly I was patching up the right spot. But he hasn't gotten out in about a week, so I think I figured it out. The pony doesn't follow him. He's quite a bit smaller than she is, so he's able to get out places that she wouldn't be able to get out at. Although I think that she was assisting him. I think that she is probably the one that was leaning on the fence and making it weaker, and then he was able to slip out from under it. And she just couldn't, so. I do think he had assistance. I do think she was helping him. But I think I figured out now where he was getting out at, and I got it patched up. So that's good news. You know what, we're gonna use the chisel tip on this. I don't use the chisel tip often, but this end is like a little dry, so we're gonna use the chisel tip. Yeah, there we go, that's better. It's a little dry because I think I used this marker to color my fish girl that I posted on Instagram. So I got the donkey sorted out though. He hasn't gotten out in a while. I think I figured it out. He was pushing on a fence and way back at like the far corner. And I managed to tie the fence up, fix it. Hopefully all is good. I had to put him out in the garden one day because the garden's fenced in too. Because we had to make a run into the city. I don't remember what for, but something was going on. And the donkey was out and I didn't have time to try and figure out where he got out. So I just locked him up in our garden. Because our garden's fenced in too, obviously to keep out deer and stuff that would want to eat our vegetables. So I just fenced him in there for probably an hour or two. He couldn't get out of there, so I just had to leave him there for a bit. And he came back, figured out where I think he got out at. But I think everything's good now. And I bought him a hula hoop to play with. I think I said that in the last video. He has warmed up to it and plays with it now. I saw him out there with it just the other day. Still don't have his buddy back yet. Waiting on my aunt. She was supposed to bring him down, but their truck that can haul the trailer broke down, so I gotta wait until she can get a different truck or fix hers. But I'll post pictures when I've got both donkeys. I'm happy for that because Scout's kind of old. I mean, not super old. Horses live a long time. She's 9, and horses can live to be 30. So she's not that old. I wouldn't call her elderly or anything, but she's like middle-aged, we'll say. She's getting there. And she doesn't exactly want to play with the donkey as often as he wants to play with her. She'll play with him sometimes. She'll run around with him. Play with the hula hoop too sometimes. But the other donkey is... Julius is 2, and so I think the other donkey is 3. So they're a lot closer in age, and that'll give him somebody that he can play with so he's not annoying the pony all the time. Because she gets annoyed with him sometimes too. I can hear her out there squeal at him when she gets annoyed. He wants to be left alone. So I'm happy that he will have a buddy to play with, because I can't be out there to play with him all the time either. as much as I would like to. I just can't. I think we'll do the sky and then be done with this picture. Let's see if I can find a nice light blue. I noticed I got marker all over my finger and I knocked the camera. So let me fix that. There we go. Adjust the camera a little bit more. Okay. We are gonna look at this pale mint color. No, that's too pale. That can't. That won't show up on camera. This denim color might though. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So we'll keep going on that. Let me take a look real quick through the viewfinder of the camera to make sure everything looks good still. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to knock into the camera. Hopefully though, everything slows down for me and I can figure out what I'm doing in statistics. Hopefully next week's just not as difficult. I don't know, sometimes the concepts just don't click in my head. And I've got all the food for everyone now, so everyone's good and fed. Got the donkey situated. Hopefully next week her truck will be fixed and she can bring me the other donkey. You know, in the summertime when I didn't have a lot of schoolwork, it wasn't too hot out, I could go out there and play with them. But just too busy right now, so he needs a buddy that's not the horse, that doesn't get annoyed with him constantly. Because she can be a real B-word if she wants to. I would know I hand-raised her with my grandpa. That was a little thing that we did. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple years ago, and I got custody of the horse, basically. You could think of that as our child, I guess. No, that sounds weird. I said, that sounds weird. I don't know why I said it like that. But I mean, she was like our baby, you know. We both hand-raised her from a teeny tiny little baby, and we would carry her around because she was so little. She was a little dog size, basically. She would follow us everywhere. You know, we'd be sitting in chairs outside, and she'd run up to you when she was so little, let her play in the yard, and you'd pick her up and put her in your lap. So, I mean, she was kind of certainly extremely spoiled, and she was our baby. He even took her inside his house sometimes. He was the one that kind of taught me everything I know about horses. So she was our baby, and that was, I wanted to keep her. When he passed, that was what was important to me. You know, when we were trying to, he didn't have a will or anything, so it was left up to family to sort out what everyone wanted. That was the only thing I wanted. I wanted her. I wanted to keep her. And I think he'd be proud of how she's doing, but she can be pretty ornery. And she gets her way. Not with me. I am certainly more ornery than she is. She gets her way with the donkey. And the other donkey, my aunt says, was really being bullied by her horses. That's why she's going to bring him up here. Because her horses really bullied him. So I know that I'm sure Scout will get her way with both of them. She will definitely out-bully him. The donkeys are both just a little bit too timid for her. And before my grandpa passed, we had a ton of horses. At any given time, I think the least amount of horses we had up here was 5. But kind of when he passed away, my mom didn't want to have anything to do with that lifestyle anymore. Just too painful. Too many memories attached to it. I didn't want to get out of it immediately. You know, that's why I kept the pony. And that's why I got a donkey this year. I like the farm life and everything. But she wanted to get out of it, so she sold off her horses and stuff, and I just kept the pony that we raised together. And my aunt took one of the horses. Because he was a older, friendly horse. She didn't really have any intentions to ride him, just to keep him as a pet. So anyway, we used to have a ton of horses, and Scout was the only pony amongst you know, full-size horses, and yeah, I'm telling you, she can be ornery. She would bully the horses. We had to keep them separate. We had this big pasture for all the horses. I think the most we ever had at one time was 8. And we had to separate the pasture into 2 halves so that she could have her own half, because she would bully those horses. She would bully them out of their food and their water. She just wouldn't leave them alone. I don't know. Spoiled her a little bit too much, I think. She's just rotten. So she'll get her way with the donkeys. But that gives Julius someone else to buddy up with the other donkeys, since they're, you know, not so hard-headed. He's feeling lonely. He can buddy up with the other donkey. She's not too bothered by Julius. I mean, he only really gets on her nerves when he wants to play with her and she doesn't want to play. But, I mean, he's like a kid to her. And it's annoying when little kids want to bother you and you don't want to be bothered by them. You're trying to take a nap, you know. So, I totally get why she would be cranky. He's out there throwing stuff at her, throwing his ball around, hitting her with it, and she's just trying to stand there and take a nap. So I know I should be cranky about it. But yeah, it gives him someone to play with, and hopefully the other donkey will be here soon. This picture's turning out nice. I like how it's turning out. Like I said, we can kind of think of it as a Halloween picture. I mean, it's definitely more of like a Valentine's Day picture for sure, but you could say the bunny's dressed up as Cupid for Halloween. I don't know if we're gonna get to have Halloween this year, really. Like I said in my last video, we can't have trick-or-treaters because we're out in the middle of nowhere, but I don't know if people in town are gonna get to have trick-or-treaters. And it could be kind of dangerous walking up to everyone's house right now. They might do one of those trunk-or-treat things. Some of the churches around here host that. In the parking lot of the church, you know, people decorate the trunk of their car and hand out candy from their car. They've always done that around here. That would fit well this year, I think. Alright, so we just got one more spot to color. This is a nice paper. I like this. I'll have to look at some more of these Crayola books. I know that the Art with Edge had like a zombie book that I thought was kind of neat. I'll have to look at that. Some of them are just kind of like patterns and stuff. Not really a fan of those. Don't like coloring patterns. But I'll have to look at like the zombie book. And maybe some of their Marvel ones. I know they have some like Avengers stuff. And I like my comic books. Speaking of comic books, I don't know how many of you guys are Walking Dead fans. Did you see that they announced season 11 would be the final season of The Walking Dead? Bittersweets, because I have been watching the show since day one as someone who read the comics. I was so excited. I've been watching the show with my dad since day one. We get together no matter what we're doing. Every Sunday night we drop it to watch The Walking Dead together. We live in separate houses now, and we still manage to get together every Sunday for The Walking Dead. So I'm sad that it's going to be the final season, but I mean, the comic series has already ended, and the TV show was catching up to the comics, so I knew the end was coming. I knew it was going to have to end soon. Still sad, though. Sad that it's coming. But can't go on forever. You know, all good TV shows come to an end. It's been on for 10 years now. So I think it's a fitting place to end. We're going to get 30 more episodes. They said season 11 was going to be 24 episodes long. And then we've got 6 bonus episodes coming from season 10, like this spring. Not sure what they're going to do with that. So we get 30 more episodes of The Walking Dead, which is more than what we'd normally get in a season. We're almost finished with this picture. Here we go. I don't know if I'm going to put any Posca paint on it or anything. I think it looks pretty good how it is. I think it looks cute just like this. I don't think it needs any glitter or anything. Let me get my page out of the way. Yeah. I think it looks good like it is. I can't decide if I want to put Posca paint on that or not. Let me think about it for a second. No, I think it looks good. I think it looks good like it is. I think we're going to leave it like that. So there's our page. This is from Crayola's Well Dressed Pets. I think this makes the 8th page I've colored this month, so I'm ahead of last month. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you understand where I've been. I've just been so busy and Tuesday was so unexpected. I'll have more time next week, thankfully. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you had a better week than I did.